Come on, dude. You're the fucking BBC. Something in my ass. Dude, he's so good.
Bye, Boris.
What the do you mean, big trans? Not a good day for Japan. Last night, I had to fly very quickly out to Japan and then come back. You have money, Lamau? That's how you do that? My friend, it's physically impossible. Money doesn't allow you to bend space-time. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. And my personal news is that, yes, I do have one of those discontinued Concorde that goes supersonic. And yes, I did go to Japan with offline TV last night. And yes, I wanted to come back exactly at 11, but that's why I'm late. Why? Did anything significant happen out there? Why is everybody talking about my favorite former Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe? We interrupt this special broadcast to tell you that the former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, passed away in a hospital. BBC Radio 1, former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated at a campaign rally earlier last night. That's all I got as far as my own personal news goes. You know, I don't have anything else. Bro, it's literally a repeat of this. Yeah, except in this one, that's a fucking socialist being assassinated by some dumb fascist piece of shit. Versus in the other one, we don't know what the political background of the fucking dude with the blunderbuss was, but we do know the political background of Shinzo Abe. As far as personal news goes, last night I started watching Spirited Away, which is really nice and really chill and really good. Anyway, speaking of Spirited Away, you know who else spirited away? Shinzo Abe. You're not gonna get me to feel sad about a fucking prime minister being assassinated. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, 19 babies got fucking slaughtered in a school like a month ago. People forgot about it already. Like, I live in America.
Now, eyewitnesses say that Mr. Abe was shot twice from behind while giving a speech.
With a motherfucking blunderbuss, dude. Blunderbussy. Like, homemade crazy shit. Yo, Japanese people.
Now, a man was detained after the shooting. Rico, incredibly shocking, not just because violence is so rare in Japan. It has been for such a long time. It's very difficult to get hold of a gun.
Bro, the fucking funniest thing is just like every alt-right and like conservative dude is just losing their shit. Like otakus that are like far right are like, oh, Shinzo Abe, he was so good. He was expressly and fiercely anti-communist. We love him. It's like, bro, you're living in Idaho, motherfucker. What are you talking about? I'll just explain one thing though. Like, other than obviously our incredible relationship with Japan that was carefully manufactured and designed over the course of the Cold War, Japan really did get away with like a lot of fucking war crimes that people just don't talk about. Like, everybody always talks about the Nazis, and for some weird reason, people truly don't talk about the horrific war crimes that Shinzo Abe's grandfather engaged in personally. The funniest thing is like Americans being like, but he was a liberal. Hey, why do you think people say cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds, brother?
We're now seeing a lot of pictures of him as a young child, because of course his grandfather was a prime minister, his father was a senior politician in the...
That's kind of weird. How does the timing work on that? Come on, dude, you're the fucking BBC. Literally, think. I mean, Shinzo Abe's kind of old. I wonder how old his grandfather was. What time period was he in power? When would that have happened? Like, you're not gonna mention that? You're not gonna mention that? There is no world in which a motherfucking German chancellor who is coming from a long lineage of fucking German politicians would never be mentioned like that. This is what I'm talking about. Japan was able to just totally evade a lot of this stuff. He was a member of the fascist group Nippon Kaigi. They claim Imperial Japan's war crimes were exaggerated or fabricated and praised Japanese colonialism for liberating Asia from the West. Abe praised his grandfather, Nobusuke Kishi, who played a leadership role for Imperial Japan. At the end of World War II, Kishi was imprisoned as a suspected Class A war criminal, but the U.S. government never charged him, and instead he became Japan's prime minister. And not only that, but this is America's like original interest in making sure that Japan was a staunch ally, and the Japanese fascists, who were of course anti-communist, were in positions of prominence and positions of power. Part of it was the literal fucking war crimes that they engaged in. I do know that America took advantage of some of the biological experiments that were being facilitated and literally took over some of that research. And just like with Operation Paperclip in the aftermath of World War II, took a lot of these war criminals in positions of prominence and kept them them there and defended them and whitewashed their crimes and wanted to make sure that they were the anti-communist people in positions of power. Every time we cover Japan, whether we're talking about like Paolo or whatever the fuck, I always will mention how ultra-nationalist Japan is and how hyper-capitalist Japan is. It's not an accident. That happened specifically because of, you know, American involvement. If Stalin had taken Japan, we would have never had this weeb shit. Well, good thing America took it then, okay? Yeah, there, I said it. The world deserved anime and manga. The young officers failed to stop the broadcast, but they got their wish. After the surrender of the U.S., Hirohito would not be tried as a war criminal after all. Instead, he would stay on the throne, effectively an American puppet. There is a bit of an irony there, because Emperor Hirohito and his maintenance of his seat was actually one of the conditions of surrender for Japan. And at the time, America was like, yeah, no, fuck that. We're still gonna bomb you. Because the USSR was going over there. So just remember that. Whenever people say, oh, well, the fire bombings were happening and they were significantly more violent and yada yada, and that's why, you know, the nuclear option was the peaceful one or whatever the fuck. That's bullshit. The real reason why they used nukes is specifically because they didn't want Japan to be fucking USSR territory. They ended up allowing the emperor to fucking maintain his position of power anyway. They literally were like, no conditional surrender, just unconditional surrender. Just kidding. We don't even give a fuck. We're just nuking you, bitch. And then they did, and then they still allowed their conditional surrender to happen. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think the U.S. isn't the best country. Multi-barreled firearms were confiscated at the Tetsuya Yamagami house. The dude's ex-military. Here's the gun that he used, which is fucking wild. He made it with like duct tape and PVC and shit. He made like a fucking sawed-off shotgun, basically. And he straight up walked up behind him in firing range and popped him. What's also crazy from an American's point of view, by the way, is that like they apprehended him without killing him, which is weird. Here's Shinzo's last moments on this earth. And you can see like even before he gets shot, because the first shot I don't think hits him, but like here, I'll show you right here. Like, do you see that cloud? Like the massive fucking cloud of smoke? That's where he is. There's a big ass explosion, basically. One thing you gotta understand is that the culture in Japan is dramatically different. You're like how did he get in firing range with this fucking blunderbuss looking ass weapon that he made with fucking PVC and duct tape? And that's because he had to make a weapon with PVC and duct tape, motherfucker. In Japan, people don't have that like cultural understanding that, you know, holy shit, someone's gonna get clapped. The only people that have guns in like the civilian population are usually Yakuza people. Not just an improvised gun, but also improvised ammo, electronically detonated powder, battery below the barrels. Fuck Second Amendment weeps chirping about gun laws in Japan. Abe refused acknowledgement of Japan's World War II sexual slavery, known euphemistically as the comfort women system. Abe disavowed and considered repealing the 1993 Kono Statement, which acknowledged and apologized to comfort women, which was sex slavery that they engaged in. Really horrific shit. In 2015, Abe and Park Geun-hye settled an agreement to help former comfort women, yet no victims were consulted and the agreement did not reflect their demands. Abe later reaffirmed his stance that comfort women's system was not a war crime. Abe also targeted Okinawa, suffering doubly under Japanese colonialism and U.S. imperialism. In 2019, Abe agreed to relocate a U.S. military base in Okinawa, despite 70% of its people voting against it in a referendum. The Okinawa U.S. military base, the Marine base, right, if I'm not mistaken, is a hotbed for COVID, but also famously is a place where a lot of sexual assault happens. I don't have a position on this other than like the obviously horrific war crimes of Japan that have gone unaddressed and its ongoing relationship with America and what that does. I'm hearing that on his deathbed, Shinzo Abe received the light of Islam and unhesitatingly recited the Shahada. Even now, he looks down on the Ummah from the gardens of Jannah. Truly, there is no God but God, and there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Yeah, that's real. That's actually what happened. People, Baba's in the chat. Shinzo Abe upheld U.S. imperialism in Asia, taking a hard line against North Korea and China. He actively contributed to continuing the legacy of Japanese colonialism by erasing of Japanese war crimes against enslaved Koreans. But yes, there was like a random YouTube channel that was like clipping all my fucking streams and then using that to fake copy strike like the HasanAbi Clips Industrial Complex. Remember, this community operates for you guys and by you guys, okay? Hillary Clinton came out that Prime Minister Abe was a champion of democracy and a firm believer that no economy, society, or country can achieve its full potential if women are left behind. Lamau! Mythologicals here, hold on. Speaking of myth, Blammo made a fire edit of him. Do you want to watch this or do you need to go? Oh, okay, go. Just go. Yeah, come after your workout. Pull up after your workout and we'll watch it after.
I got my hands on a Japanese history textbook. And if you look inside, you'll see a version of history that is very different than the one the world knows. I actually visited the people who publish and write this book. It's this group of old Japanese men who are part of this lobbying society that basically try to push a different historical narrative into Japanese schools, and they've been quite successful. This textbook publishing society is one of many expressions of a rising nationalism in Japan.
It'd be crazy if they did the same thing in U.S. history books. Yeah, it would be. Thank God we have incredibly powerful women. Did not allow that to happen. Search Daughters of the Confederacy for more information.
Within the first 5 minutes of my interview with Sakurai, and even through a translator, I could tell that this guy would get along great with Donald Trump.
でその都知事選の一番最後のですね、た時にものすごい人だかりで、フェイクニュースがもう横行してるんですよ。
He has surrounded himself with advisors and ministers from some of these fringe groups who are now influencing policy. Up until now, these guys, and yes, most of them are guys, have been known for driving around in their decked-out vans, preaching the restoration of Japan's pre-World War II greatness.
のね、あなたたちに言ってもなかなか理解はされないでしょうけれども、日本型の民主主義なんですね。天皇という存在が一番頂点にあって、でそれで何千年も日本という国は
Yeah, the democratically assigned emperor. Like, what do you mean? But nationalism, once established as a nation state that is no longer that has like, you know, well-defined borders and whatnot, it will oftentimes be fascist. That's why there's a difference between like Irish nationalism, which is like internationalist, ironically, in its perspective, and often has relied on help from other countries that are undergoing similar anti-colonial struggle, and also will routinely offer help to other countries undergoing colonial and imperialist oppression.
世界中の子どもたちはもう本当にもう誇り満々として自分の国の国自慢をしますけれども、日本の子どもはそれができない、そういうふうにまで日本は洗脳されています。
En réalité, on a appris à nos enfants qu'ils avaient toutes les raisons de la critiquer, de n'en voir que peut-être les aspects historiques les plus sombres.
For those of you who don't know, that's un spit on news, Marine Le Pen, who is a fucking also a fan of the fascists.
The US and allied powers won the war. They came in, dismantled Japan's military, and wrote them a new constitution that ensured they'd never get so powerful again. To the nationalists, this was the moment that everything was lost. Japan was brought to its knees, stripped of the pride and national.
It's just so funny that he's saying this, but like, no. America literally fucking did that and then turned around and was like, all of those nationalists, like, don't worry, you're still in power, and we're going to do everything we can to ensure that you are the fucking people in power. So the idea that like America brought the Japanese nationalist movement to its fucking knees is so funny. They couldn't even kill the goddamn emperor and like reinstated the emperor after saying, like I said earlier, that it was no conditional release for the Japanese war criminals. That's why we have to nuke you guys, except no, we'll abide by the conditions of your release anyway. We claimed that we nuked them because they wouldn't drop the demand to keep their emperor, except we allowed them to keep their emperor. What I've always said is, and this is something I've said about Tucker Carlson so many fucking years ago, is that if you do not allow left-wing true economic populism to occur, and if you consistently undermine it, you are the only kind of populist messaging you're going to hear is going to be the inoffensive populist messaging from the right. If you don't have a counterbalance with real left-wing economic populism, the only kind of populist messaging you're going to hear is from nationalist psychos. Now, we didn't really get into Unit 731. It is a covert, like I said, is a covert biological and chemical warfare research and development unit in the Imperial Japanese Army that engaged in Mengele-style experimentation, engaged in lethal human experimentation and biological weapons manufacturing during the Second Sino-Japanese War and World War II. They were responsible for some of the most notorious war crimes committed by the Japanese armed forces. They conducted tests on human beings who were dehumanized and internally referred to as logs, Experiments included disease injections, controlled dehydration, hypobaric chamber experiments, biological weapons testing, vivisection, amputation, and weapons testing. Victims were from different nationalities, but the majority of them were Chinese. Additionally, Unit 731 produced biological weapons that were used in areas of China not occupied by. So, what did the Americans do, though? Wait, what's that? Does that say American grant of immunity? Hold on. What? No way. And MacArthur struck a deal with the Japanese informants. He secretly granted immunity to the physicians of Unit 731, including their leader, in exchange for providing America, but not the other wartime allies. Google Trends on Abe comfort women since you put it in your... Wait, no. No, that's not because of my fucking tweet. Look at the past 4 hours and the timestamp. You posted it on Twitter, like 12:50 p.m. Oh, shit. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it definitely played a role in it. 12:47. Okay, maybe it played a role in it. But a little bit during the day.
At its largest, Unit 731, stationed in Pinfang, was composed of 300 researchers, including doctors and bacteriologists, who would sometimes publish their findings in peer-reviewed scientific journals, failing to mention that many of the experiments were done on humans and not monkeys, as was stated. Let's just be very clear about what kind of facility we're talking about here. Nobody who came through the gates as a prisoner ever left alive.
There's a similarity, almost a direct similarity between the testing that occurred in Unit 731, like Mengele's experiments as well, that were just cruel for the purpose of being cruel. And not only that, but also led to like zero new medical information coming out of it.
Other experiments include giving prisoners the wrong blood transfusion or the blood of animals, injections of seawater, the human body's tolerance for G-force using a rotating chamber, prolonged X-ray exposure, rape and forced pregnancy, and probably a whole lot more that we'll never completely know about.
And we arrive at why so many of you don't know.
The end of World War II, there appears to have been high-level discussion regarding the use of chemical or biological weapons against the Allies and even on the US mainland. This would be done using information and methods taken from the research done by Unit 731. When the Americans arrived in Japan, rumors of chemical and biological testing swirled.
Not unless you're America, and you will try. Just fucking understand that, like, America looked at this and went, we can use this.
If there were ever war crimes committed, it was under the dark scope of Unit 731. However, the end of World War II saw an almost immediate pivot away from past enemies and towards new ones. For the Americans, the Japanese were no longer the enemy, and they would do whatever they could to make life hard for those devious Soviets. General MacArthur authorized blanket immunity for those who worked in Unit 731 in exchange for sole ownership of the information and findings which the United States deemed hugely valuable. But it's crystal clear that both the US and the Soviet Union let those responsible for the horror in Unit 731 off the hook for their own gain.
Yeah, America has concentration camps on the border, and we have a torture camp in Cuba. And when I mention that, motherfuckers are like, bro, how dare you? I mean, you're going too far. It's like, no, it's the same shit, dumbass. Like, I love Japan, but nobody's like, bro, you're really being anti-Japanese right now when I'm covering Japanese fucking war crimes. You know what I mean? Only two countries you can't criticize for their war crime, and they're both America.
The number of people deemed to have been killed through Japanese chemical and biological warfare programs was estimated at 580,000, and that includes those killed through attacks outside the walls of Unit 731, as well as those inside.
Anyway, we're done with Japanese war crimes. We need to cover something else. News outlet mistakenly identified Shinzo Abe's assassin as motherfucking Hideo Kojima, bro. News outlets in Greece and Iran, as well as a far-right French politician, shared images of a Japanese man in a Joker t-shirt lugging around a Che Guevara bag and claimed it was the assassin of Shinzo Abe. It wasn't. The images were of famed Death Stranding and Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. The mistake first started going viral after the French far-right politician Damien Rieu tweeted out pictures of Kojima in response to another politician's tweet about the assassination. He said, "Far-left extremism kills." Rieu posted above a picture of the world-famous game designer wearing a Soviet fur cap. The source for the rumor seems to be 4chan. In a thread posted to the Poll Politically Incorrect board after the shooting, an anonymous poster claimed the identity of the shooter was a 58-year-old man living in Tokyo who was a known left-wing extremist, of course. Tetsuya Yamagami is the name of the shooter. Everybody calm down. I need you to understand something. Of course, the fucking average, like, liberal boomer YouTuber is not gonna fucking be like, Shinzo Abe was a fucking gross whitewasher of war crimes. Like, half of you just learned about this shit, like, literally 30 minutes ago when I covered it, and you're already fucking up in arms. Like, if an American politician was assassinated, the nation would be mourning in a similar capacity.
Japan's very, as you all know, a safe country. People, just ordinary people like me, can get close to the politician very easily. And even if the person is prime minister.
Yeah, I was about to say, Japanese culture is different. Like because of a lack of guns, politicians are constantly like around the public. There's a tweet I saw on this issue. U.S. 400,000 guns, or 400 million guns, 0 dead politicians. Japan, 1 gun, 1 dead prime minister. We should be absolutely embarrassed. That's funny. That's a parody and a funny joke. Anyway, so let's see what Joe Brandon had to say. Joe Biden reads teleprompter script, repeat the line and says,
it is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political, or maybe precise, not and or political power. That's another way of saying that you, the women of America, can determine the outcome of this issue.
Yeah, repeat the line, bro. He's just saying, like, you know, he's talking to his brain cells are talking to one another. All right, let's get to Brandon and America. I'm sick and tired of talking about Japan, okay? President Biden, President Brandon is to sign executive order to protect access to abortion.
Now, the president is expected to announce that he's going to direct HHS to protect access to medication abortion and take steps to ensure emergency medical care for pregnant women and those experiencing pregnancy loss. The order will direct agencies to educate medical providers and insurers about how and when they are required to share privileged patient information with authorities. Information abortion rights advocates fear could be used to prosecute women who've had the procedure. The president will also ask the Federal Trade Commission to take steps to protect the privacy of those seeking reproductive care online.
I mean, this is like bare minimum stuff. Breaking news, Elon Musk has backed out of the Twitter deal, which is not surprising to anyone. The one time he's ever fucking pulled out. Mythological is here in the motherfucking building.
The former prime minister of Japan was assassinated?
Yeah, right as OTV got into Japan. Coincidence? I think not.
Holy fuck.
Investigate it further, man.
I agree.
Let's talk about Elon Musk. Not Elon Ma, my favorite character on the planet. Elon Musk. Elon Musk has officially backed out of the Twitter deal. Elon Musk is also notorious for never pulling out. Turns out he had twins last year with one of his top executives, a secret twin. Let's talk about your guest, an intro or something. Oh shit, I forget that there's like Normans in here. This is Ali Kabani, aka Mythological. He's one of my good friends, and he's a Twitch streamer for those of you who don't know. And he's here to just hang out.
And steal his car.
Okay, yeah. Take it.
Sick.
This is an Elon Musk fan saying, Congratulations, Elon Musk. You are leading the way. That makes 9. You should put your sperm into a bank and see who will make withdrawal. Speed up process of increasing population with a few million of your swim team. Just absolutely psychotic shit.
Have you ever thought of that? Putting your sperm in a sperm bank?
No, because I don't want to be the father of like random children. I am already the stepfather of thousands, okay?
That's
in the
fair.
30,000 specifically. I don't want to also be the biological father to so many. Mythiccreepy.com.
What the fuck is this?
Dude, what the fuck is he doing?
You want to be my friend?
Dude, this is so good.
Is this something in my ass? Something in my ass.
It's something in the way. Oh my gosh, dude. The myth. Yes. Dude, put me in a movie. What is this?
Hold on.
It's still going?
Blammo!
Oh.
Oh, you were trying to high five me? What's good? What's good?
Listen, I think we should have more cooperation in my life, okay? I want to live my life in one way, okay? If you're a woman and you're going to date me, all right, listen, here's what's going to happen.
This
Your
is so
extreme
good.
career is over.
Dude,
okay?
wow.
You're
The
going to
tweet
be
that
in
you
the
put up
kitchen,
of somebody like
all right?
overlapping it with the video is so fucking good.
Because that's a detriment to my mental health.
He has a good Austin, too. He was doing it last night.
Will, come over here. All right, we got a show to do, Will, and I'm furiously gay, okay?
My name is Mythbot. I've come to kill all the streamers.
Okay, what do they can hear you? Just do it. I did not see you do this.
Austin Show.
Hey guys, don't worry, Master's coming back.
No! No! I'm going to let you get back to your regularly broadcasted program anyways. I just wanted to come watch the video and see you before you go.
I did see the new New York gun law, which is a little sus. Gun applicants in New York will have to hand over social accounts. Yeah, I think that this is like kind of wild and a violation of the free speech rules. I think it's probably one of those measures where it's like literally they just want to make it as difficult as possible. Dude, I love watching broadcasts from like other countries. Like, look at how different this shit looks. It reminds me, weirdly enough, it reminds me of like how different Turkish broadcasts are too. There's a new Jubilee, 5 anti-vaxxers versus 2 fakes, and one of them is a HasanAbi head.
Vaccine.
Anti-vaccine.
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 I am not vaccinated and I haven't been vaccinated. And I have 2 kids, they haven't been vaccinated either, and that's all vaccines.
The whole COVID pandemic kind of woke me up.
It feels like discrimination when I tell people I'm anti-vax or I haven't been vaccinated.
I'm a pharmacist, and when they put in with the COVID vaccination, I just felt really uncomfortable. It's just made me open my eyes to how many things are in vaccines and how much we don't discuss them in the medical community.
My anti is toward COVID vaccines. Actually, truth be told, the rapid test we just took was the first COVID test I've ever taken.
Growing up, I got most of my vaccines. However, I especially did not want to get the COVID vaccine. The media censorship was the biggest start to me kind of, like he said, waking up to this.
I love this premise because it's like 5 fucking freaks and then 2 people who can mask themselves as an anti-vaxxer. Now, in this video, I must figure out who the HasanAbi head is. And also on top of that, I must make a lock on whether or not they are able to take the most important lessons that I've imparted on you, which is how to behave like a hog.
So I started as a teacher in elementary school, and they actually asked me to leave because it was mandated that you had to be vaccinated to be in like a group of kids. So that was really frustrating for me.
Bro, why does this motherfucker look like Fred Meister?
Working with kids is a big passion of mine.
I was actually asked to leave nursing school. I started for a month and then they accepted my religious exemption, and then a month into it said never mind.
I could not believe that I got voted out first round.
I had to miss a wedding that I was really excited for one of my friends back in Indiana.
One side of my family refused to see me, so that was kind of disheartening. I am not just someone who is not vaccinated. I actually have natural immunity.
Okay, bro, this is real. If Jenna is the HasanAbi head, I'm gonna be very surprised because this is exactly how a fucking anti-vaxxer would talk.
Yeah, I'm very libertarian leaning.
Heck
so
yeah.
My ideas aren't like I line up with a Republican or Democrat. For me, it's
Yes.
just we should have the ability to decide what we want to do.
Yeah. It's just funny, like how all of a sudden the government started caring about your health. Wouldn't they have banned like smoking cigarettes?
Yeah.
Like
What, dude? Okay. That is not a HasanAbi head. That's a real anti-vaxxer because they did do that. That is too authentically fucking idiotic.
Even the VAERS report, there's thousands of reports
Yes.
of people with like vaccine side effects, and people pretend like that's not a reality. And to act like
It's pretty funny that this dude is like, this is too unreasonable. What Nico's doing is too unreasonable. Like, bro, have you seen motherfuckers like you? Have you heard yourself?
you said none of your kids don't have any vaccines, right?
I
How
have-
did that affect
I've never
them,
had-
like getting into school?
Well, they're 3 and 2
Oh,
months,
okay.
so they're not old enough yet.
I'm trying to get out of California.
Yeah, no,
so
me
why
too.
did you move to California?
Honestly, like, yeah, all the mandates and everything I don't like, but I mean, it's California. It's kind of like that kind of the dream to come and live here, so.
I'm trying to switch with you. I want to go.
Bro, what the fuck? Okay, dude. Come on, Nico. What the fuck? You can't admit that. It's California, brother. What is wrong with you? You're supposed to say, I'm reluctantly here. What the fuck? I've already full blown. I think Nico is the HasanAbi head, and he is cucking himself. He got clapped because he foolishly admitted that he like wants to live in California.
Can I ask who everybody voted for in the elections?
I voted for. Oh, you're talking about the actual election?
Yes.
Oh, I voted for Trump.
Oh, that's interesting. A libertarian who voted for Donald Trump. That's so strange and unique. Please tell me more about how Donald Trump, a fucking fascist police state, military state candidate, tell me more about how that corresponds to your libertarian worldview. That's so sick.
Yeah, I'm libertarian as well, so I did not vote.
I didn't vote either.
I haven't voted either. I mean, I personally voted for Trump.
Religious, I guess you could say.
Dude, I think Asabi is the other fake vaxxer, by the way.
Vaccines are like a no-go. Like, we don't believe that we should put poison in our bodies.
What? Why should she get clapped?
If you feel like the mole is still in the box and you'd like to continue playing the game, please raise your hand. You need a majority vote, and since it's just the 2 of you, instead we're going to ask, can you share your suspicions.
I know it was Nico. That's number one.
Yeah.
Just because I think he was throwing out buzzwords, like he developed a character. I think it was Ryan too, honestly, because Ryan, when he first said, this is the first COVID test I've ever taken. I do trust you, but you do seem very much like you've researched a lot.
Neither of you guys voted.
Bro, he literally admitted it. What do you mean? He said, I don't trust you because you look like you've researched a lot. You're too smart to be an anti-vaxxer. I think Mason might be the fucking good job on that last second self-report, dude. Okay, if this motherfucker's the HasanAbi head, I'm gonna lose my mind, dude. No shot. He seems so authentically a chud.
I assume most of us don't agree with the mainstream media or like watch a lot of that because obviously there's a narrative that's pushed there. So I was gonna ask, what type of media outlets do you guys consume? The Daily Wire I've had a little bit of trouble with because Ben Shapiro has really like promoted vaccines.
Yeah, I disagree with that part.
I like Candace Owens, but yeah, I don't know. I've kind of gone on and off with Ben Shapiro. But I like Steven Crowder. I like Dr. Robert Malone, Hank Pecker. There's a lot of different streamers and media outlets that I think do push a more like, you should be able to choose what you want for your body.
Oh! Are you fucking joking? No! Dude, he's so good! He's so fucking good! I'm dead. I just got a vaccine injury, boys. He was so good, he got me pissed off about how fucking dumb his arguments were. The only time I suspected him was when he said, you're well-researched. Libertarian school teacher? Come on, man. Dude, oh God, he's so good. That was incredible. This is one of the proudest moments of my streaming career, dude. What is Hank Pecker? Hank Pecker, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people thought that Hank Pecker was not a real character. A lot of people had the audacity to say that Hank Pecker is a libtard, masquerading himself as a conservative. But what Hank Pecker is not a single man. Hank Pecker is just an idea. Hank Pecker loves guns, Hank Pecker loves babies, and Hank Pecker loves Jesus. That's right. One of the foremost authorities on anti-vaxxer rhetoric in the nation, Hank Pecker has taken all the libertarians to the Holy Land, Valhalla. Anti-vax Valhalla, baby. And that's right, Hank Pecker absolutely drives a Ford F-150 pickup truck. Hank Pecker, folks, I am a man of God. I love my country and I love my guns. So it's Mason and Nico that are the anti-vaxxers then. I like Steven Crowder, Dr. Robert Malone, Hank Pecker. I mean, it was so good. Bro, they didn't even mention him.
I was pretty bummed. I thought I had spoken pretty well about my beliefs, so I was surprised.
If the lights turn red, that means a mole is still in the box.
They didn't even mention him. That's crazy.
If the lights turn green, that means you have voted the mole out, and you win.
No, it's not me. It's you.
It's you.
Oh my God, blonde woman immediately blames the black lady? Come on, bro.
I think it's Matt.
1, 2.
I was right. It was him and Mason, right? Oh shit, this dude is literally a fucking anti-vaxxer?
I'm very politically engaged, so I've had a lot of conversations with people just about, whether or not people should get vaccines, whether or not there should be government mandates, that type of thing. I've heard a lot of opinions on both sides. My goal here was to kind of just be really subtle about it and to kind of just sow doubt in the vaccine, not really take a hard stance of like pandemic or like microchips, that extreme wing, because I don't think anyone really here is on that, spectrum.
Honestly, I said that because I was trying to get some points because I thought, like, if I say pandemic, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm far.
I literally got mad at him for calling out this dude for the same reasons that I was calling him out, because I thought it was like inappropriate, because that's how convincing of an anti-vaxxer he was, that I was like, bitch, you're an anti-vaxxer. How dare you say, oh, people don't say pandemic. Fuck you. Dude, this was incredible. This is the best Jubilee video we watched, hands down. They put them as the thumbnail. Yeah. That's how confident they were, that they were like, literally, they just they just put the spoilers in there. Spoiler Andes, dude. Anyway, let's continue for now.
So I noticed just the other day you were banned from Twitter. I do have a question about that specific tweet that did get you in trouble.
Well, I don't know if it got me in trouble. Twitter banned me, but I don't consider that trouble.
Dog, you made a whole fucking video about it. Of course you're in trouble.
Fair point. But you said something to the effect of, remember when pride was a sin?
And Ellen Page just had her breasts cut off by a criminal physician.
Criminal physician, exactly. So my question is the physician really criminal? If you agree that adults can decide to transition, then why would the physician be criminal?
Not everything legal isn't criminal. How many kids do you think she can convince to convert? One?
Yeah.
1,000?
I think that with the trans community, it's very similar to the gay community, where back when that first became a big issue, people thought, oh, if we talk about it, if it's in magazines or whatever, we're promoting kids to go down that path. But really what happened is people are who they are. And if they're gay, they just decided to be like, yeah, I'm gay. And they were just more open and honest with themselves. So I don't think you're promoting people to do that.
No,
You're
that's
just
not
saying,
what happened.
if you
You're
are that, it's
completely
okay.
wrong. I knew perfectly well what was going to happen when we introduced confusion about gender identity into the public sphere. Now, the argument was that if we left people with gender dysphoria alone to make their own way and stop torturing them, we would decrease the mental health load on those individuals. And my analysis as a clinician was that for every one person of that sort that we hypothetically save, we doom 1,000 more.
Statistically speaking, at least, if you were to actually look at the empirical evidence, for every person that regrets their decision to transition, the overwhelming majority, like 99%, are actually super happy and their lives are greatly improved as a consequence of this. Like, he's just lying. Yeah. The detransitioning rates are super, super fucking rare. People regret cosmetic surgeries all the time. Why aren't they worried about banning those? That's actually a really good point, especially because the cosmetic surgery procedure is not like life-saving in the same way. It's wild for Jordan Peterson to say this, considering that he has gotten gender-affirming surgery in the form of a hair transplant surgery. Jordan Peterson's hairline didn't used to look like this. It has gotten worse over the years, but it used to be much worse than this. He got hair plugs. So, you know, shut the fuck up, Jordan.
Often when you introduce social confusion, you can produce a psychogenic epidemic, especially among adolescent females who are most susceptible to it. So I thought, oh, well, what's going to happen is we'll produce a psychogenic epidemic of gender dysphoria among adolescent females. And that is exactly what's happened. And it isn't the fact that we've freed up people who are in doubt about their identity to be who they are. I read a corporate analysis of the trans surgery industry.
Trans surgery industry. Dog, you mean doctors? Is that what we're talking about? Is like trans surgery even a fucking specific branch of surgery? I feel like he's just making this shit up. Maybe it is. I don't know. Even so, of course, I have no problem with this because I'm not a fucking transphobic piece of shit. You know what I mean? He's like, oh no, a lot of trans people are going to be comfortable in their own bodies. That's unacceptable. I want them to kill themselves. That's Jordan Peterson's entire take for made up reasons. Literally, he made up the reason. He said, oh, well, what about the people that detransition, bucko?
For you lefty types and your anti-corporatism.
Dude, this is my favorite type of right-wing reactionary commentary now is like, well, we hate corporations. It's like, bro, you're literally an oil lobbyist, okay? You have repeated oil lobbyist propaganda. What the fuck do you mean, big trans? Okay, we'll get back to this video in a second because Austin is in the UK and we're gonna fucking...
Hello.
Hello there, governor.
Hello, how are you?
Top of the fucking morning to you.
Yeah, top of the evening. You know what? It's about midnight here.
Yeah, it's about fucking midnight, bruv. Oh, let's hear it then.
Guess who I'm sitting next to right now?
Who are you fucking... Bojo? Boris Johnson.
Hello. You know who that is?
Who's that? Is that Bojo?
No.
It's Tomo.
It's me. You don't know who me? It's me, Tommy.
It's Tommy. It's Tommy in it. Austin.
I'm sitting here next to George.
It's me, George. You've been misled.
Turn on your camera right now, coward.
We're just looking for the camera right now.
I've been bamboozled.
I'm looking for the camera to turn it on. How do I turn this on?
Wait, why doesn't it work?
It doesn't work. Oh, hold on. Just give us a second. We're going to get there.
Oh, it is GeorgeNotFound. Oh, you did it. Oh, you fucking did it, England.
We're here.
You did it for England. Boom. Why does he have a bat, dude?
Well, this is the bat. This is a British AR-15 right here. This is what they have.
Is that how we're gonna? Is that what we're gonna use to protect ourselves from the roving?
Yeah, this is exactly what we. This is what we.
In the event of danger, we have it ready.
Yeah.
What was he saying? Are you being awkward? Is Austin being awkward?
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm next to GeorgeNotFound. I'm next to GeorgeNotFound. So we're here right now. We are at the site of the next lover host, Hasan.
No way. What?
This is the site of the next lover host. We have just set it up successfully. And guess, chat. I mean, look at me, Hasan. Look at me promoting my lover host on your show.
I know. You would never come on if it wasn't for that.
No. And look, guess who's going to be sitting next to me on the next lover host?
Who?
GeorgeNotFound.
Wait.
And Hasan Piker right here. He's going to be right here.
I'm going to be right there. So it looks like I'm there.
He's going to be right here. Oh, here, let's do a thumbnail, Hasan. Go.
Here, I'm doing it. Yeah, as much as I slander the UK regularly, I do love the UK.
So, George, I get here yesterday, right? Yeah. I land, and you have no prime minister. You have nobody in control of your country.
Did no one replace him?
I mean, he resigned, but he's gonna stay prime minister.
Yeah, what do you think about the prime minister resigning? What do you think, George?
I honestly, I honestly have no idea. I can't form an opinion. I know nothing about politics. I'm sorry.
You heard it right there, folks. He's elated that Boris is no longer in office.
Oh, by the way, BBC Radio 1, the producer who wanted me to come on, they want us to go visit BBC Radio 1.
And by us, do you mean you?
Yeah, but like you're with me. You know what I mean? Whoever wants to come can come.
Okay, I've got an idea, Hasan. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
You know where the fence is, where 10 Downing Street is? There's a ton of protesters.
We should go there in IRL stream.
Yeah, there's that, but I thought it would be cool. I mean, it can't happen because you're leaving LA, but I thought it'd be funny to dress me up as a newscaster, have like a real looking like TV camera, and then live stream me doing a TV live broadcast in front and then interview people as if I'm on the news.
I mean, we can still go there, though. I don't know if there's still protesters there, though. I don't think.
I know, but you'll be with the backpack, so it'll be like obvious that it's not official. We would have to like make it see. I mean, we don't have to do it for just this. Has that been done before?
Yes.
Yeah, I think. Well, no, like I'm an actual news broadcaster, like, but I don't know what I'm talking.
All right, give us your British voice, like as a newscaster. All right, we're tuning into Austin at 10 Downing Street. The crowd is rowdy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're
Austin, is that a gun? Is that a
10
gun? Austin.
Hello. No. It's me. No, I can't talk like this. You
know you can't do that. You need to be posh.
That's a worker. That's a union worker, mate.
More elegant with it.
No, you need to be posh. You need to be posh. Like.
Hello, I am here with BBC One, and today we are discussing.
Here, let me listen. Let me listen real quick.
Austin, you're supposed to be posh like this, like. We're out here in 10 Downing Street, and the crowd is very rowdy today.
Now, we are standing right here in front of 10 Downing Street, where people are absolutely joyous over the occasion that Boris Johnson is no longer Prime Minister.
It sounds too fake.
You think
too much into it. It's too much.
I think that's good, though, isn't it? Yeah, but Londoners all over town are cheering.
It's too much.
Singing on their bicycles, bye, Boris, bye.
You'd have to be like 70 years old.
Okay, well,
you're close.
Let me take it down a notch.
If it was 10 years later,
let me take it down a notch. We are live here in front of 10 Downing Street, where people are absolutely joyous of the occasion in which Boris Johnson has denounced that he is no longer going to be Prime Minister.
Not bad.
Maybe it's funnier if you're like this, because maybe a person that you're trying to interview, if you do it, they're not going to think you're faking it. I'm Austin, and I'm awesome. Wow.
This is a British guy doing an American accent.
Nailed it.
Hey, man, I would like to buy a hamburger.
Okay, Austin, you want to know how you fucked up? You said joyous. British people have never felt joy.
I also have another announcement to make. Hasan and I are going to fly on Tuesday next week a 30 million pound full motion flight simulator. And I just got word that the instructor is no longer needed in the right seat because he feels as if I am capable enough to fly the simulator myself.
I love this.
Hassan in the right seat.
Okay, so be real. Here's what happened. No, he already went. He already went and tested this out, and he actually didn't just find out, okay? Because when he just found out, he called me so excited. It was like, dude, you won't fucking believe what the captain said, what the pilot said.
There's a captain like sitting next to me, like he was actually like a real 737 captain. And originally they're like, no, you cannot. I have to be in the right seat the whole time. Like, no questions asked. I'm like, well, I think I know what I'm doing a little bit. And he's like, no questions asked. No matter what, I have to be in the right seat. And I sat in there, and by the end of it, he's like, you know what? I think your friend and you could fly, and I'll sit in the back and I'll watch. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, mate, I think you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'll be right there. So if anything goes wrong, you know what I mean? I'll be right there to hit the button.
It can't go. How can it go wrong though? It's a simulator.
Well, no, but it's dangerous. Like it's like on a.
Yeah, but the video I've seen the video.
Austin laid out the ground rules. Austin apparently laid out the ground rules. I can't make 9/11 references. I can't make jokes about like being Muhammad Atta. Yeah.
Cannot do any of that, Hasan.
And I can't purposely try to crash the plane.
Yeah, because he's actually. But you, Hasan, you are able to fly it. But he'll be right there to hit a button just in case you are about to crash. Because it is a full motion simulator. It's very violent when you crash, and it like thrashes, and like they don't like it.
That's excellent content.
No, I know it is, but they don't like it. But we can like what they said we could do is we could simulate like hurricane level winds, and
so
like,
we can't simulate box cutters. Like we can't simulate like people with box cutters running into the room. That's a real scenario that has happened in the world, specifically on September 11th, 2001.
And then on top of that, what are we doing with you, Hasan?
We're gonna do a Scran no Scran stream. Not exactly sure on when, like what day we're gonna do it. So that's one of those days. The other day that's available, I was planning on potentially going to like do something really touristy with whoever the fuck wants to come from, Dream SMP or whatever. If you guys want to come, George, I mean.
And let me tell you, the worst air conditioning in the world is in England. I am roasting right now. I almost missed my train today. Oh, I did miss my train. I missed my train because I went and ordered a cheese and tomato toast, and I was 2 steps from the door, and the guy's like, no, sorry. And then the train shut, and he didn't let me on. It's like, because I was like 2 seconds from the door closing. You know what we should do is we should protest. That's what we should do. We should go and strike. I've been driving the tube for 30 years, mate. We need to they need to stop working.
Okay, dude.
Unionize it, mate.
Well, I would love to get it. Like, I'm talking to the Navarra media guys and some of the British journalists that I'm good friends to try to figure out like what I could do with them during the day while I'm not streaming. If I could talk to Mick Lynch, that would be fucking awesome. Mick Lynch is the union leader of the RMT. Is the spokesperson basically for the ongoing RMT strikes that are happening right now. He's dope. But more importantly than that, obviously, the best interview of all time would be Corbyn.
You think you could get him on Twitter? Why don't you interview Boris? I imagine he's not going to be doing much, coming up.
Dude, I can't interview Boris Johnson, bro. What are you, crazy?
You think he'd take an interview?
Absolutely not. We're also shooting a promo for the podcast. Part of the reason why I wanted to go to the UK was so that we could like do something different than just like sit around in my fucking living room and shoot another episode of the podcast. It's like identical to every other thing that we shoot.
Have we announced that I'm a permanent member of the podcast yet?
Are you? I mean, sure, if you want to be.
Have we announced that? Oh, did I just leak that?
You were not, but that'd be great.
No one clip it. No one clip it.
No.
Yeah, no one heard that.
Hasan doesn't want me on there. He doesn't like gay people, right?
No, what do you mean? That would be fucking sick if you were to actually make the commitment and come on.
The only way Hasan wants a gay man with him is when he's profiting. See? LGBTQ foe.
Yeah.
Everybody that I meet that's also gay are big fans of HasanAbi. Oh, by the way.
What?
I had a decision. You're going to be proud of me. I had a decision to take an Uber to where I was going, which was about a little bit over an hour, or take the train, and I decided to take the train.
Wow, I'm proud of you. While there's a strike going on, you fucking scab.
Yeah.
You strike
to break down 4 separate times, get canceled. I had to transfer. I missed it while I was getting a toasty. No, the train was more expensive.
The train was more expensive?
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it was a little cheaper. It was not that much cheaper. It was like 40 pounds cheaper.
Oh, that's not much for you.
No, I mean, it was
just
a lot.
Just 40 pounds. It's
I mean, it was a lot to me, but it was just like, it was just.
Yeah.
No, 40 pounds is a lot of money. What's a scab?
When there's an active strike going on at a workplace and someone will break through that picket line and go work for the company, undercutting the main purpose of the strike. Well, you're technically, people say like if you break the picket line, even to consume the products, you're still scabbing a little bit. Not like in the original sense, but.
I can't win. What do you guys want me to do? Rent a twin turbo V8 BMW and pollute the environment as I drive an hour and a half.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, whatever. It's fine.
I did get a new car though, and it's faster than Hasan's.
Not faster. I don't know why you fucking say that every time. We literally looked it up. My car is faster than your car.
Mine's got 625 horsepower.
Mine has an electric engine and it's faster than yours.
Mine's still faster.
I'm genuinely shocked that you're like a decent pilot because of how bad you are at driving a car.
Well, gays are like really good at flying. Gay homosexuals occupy the airline industry. Like they're very prevalent in the airline industry. Pilots, flight attendants.
Why is that?
Because they're great at flying. It's like something gay driving is a thing. We're bad at driving. But as soon as we like get in the air,
it's because
amazing.
you can't.
Just like in the simulator, I was amazing in the air, but once I touched the ground and started taxiing, I took out like 3 gates and another airline. It was ridiculous. I will often stop my car in 4-lane traffic to look at a hot man. Sometimes I'll just take a loop around the block. I haven't been looking at men as much on this trip. You know who are very attractive?
Women
in the UK. The women are beautiful here. People hate me because they think I'm straight baiting. No, I'm just waiting to cuck Hasan. I like to go out with Hasan and flirt with the girls he's flirting with. Yeah, I mean, look at me. They're like, oh, look at that 6'4", broad-shouldered, beautiful, Hercules-looking man. But, step aside. I'll take the 5'9", half-balding, big-nose-looking gay dude. You know, that's me.
5'9". I don't know if you are, because I'm 5'9".
George is taller than you.
No, he's not.
He is. Austin, the only reason why you appeared taller was because you have a little hair floof. That's it. Also, George is still growing. I feel like British people either look like George and are very attractive, or they look like Boris Johnson and nothing in between. They're just like, they're either Tories. They're either Tories and have like a lordship and look like Jabba the fucking Hutt, or they look like George and they're gonna be like actors in America or some shit.
It's funny because I've been looking at British people thinking the same thing. I've been like, oh my God, or oh my God. You know what I mean? It's either one or the other. There's no in between.
I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm really excited to be in the UK.
We should go to gay bars.
We could do the Scran and then go to gay bars if you want. George, you're going to TwitchCon EU, right?
I don't know yet.
I mean, tickets are like not that expensive. They're like 74 quid.
It's a bit expensive. I don't know if I can justify it.
But
George is going to TwitchCon EU. Is that right, George?
I don't think I told you.
He didn't tell me that.
I can't. I can neither confirm nor deny if I'm going.
Bro, I want to go shopping and I want to get fucking clothes and not get canceled this time. I hope.
I was wearing an outfit today and the waitress was so sweet. She was so nice. She dumped an entire bottle of Coke all over my outfit today. And I went in there and I talked to the manager and I said, you know what? She is fine. I bumped her. I took the responsibility. I said, she did nothing wrong.
I'm proud of you, Austin.
I was like, she didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, sir, she spilled an entire bottle of Coke all over your trousers. And I said, yes, but it's not her fault. And she's like, well, then whose fault is it, sir?
Someone's got to be at fault. In fact, it was her fault. Whose fault? It was.
I know, but she didn't deserve that. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, you can admit it's her fault, but she doesn't deserve a punishment.
Exactly.
There doesn't need to be.
I said it was an honest mistake. Just clean all my laundry for free, and we'll call it good.
Oh, you did? You're like, take it out of her fucking pay cut. Give her a pay cut.
I did not force.
George, take it out of her pay.
George is a liar.
One of my editors made a edit of the Lover host with Tommy in it.
That's awesome.
I love that he didn't know who George was. He didn't have George's @ my community's a little bit older.
Oh, I've got a mom's friend that wants me to bring back some British cigarettes to her.
Wait, what?
She's just one of my a longtime family friend. She's like, could you bring back some British cigarettes for me?
Is there a difference?
Yeah, she wants like a particular brand. Yeah, I'll bring some back. Yeah. No, it's duty free. Unless that's illegal and I'm just admitting to like a crime.
By the end of this, George, I hope you're not offended, but we're gonna be talking a lot in our British accents. I'm just letting you know.
No, that's fine. I'm used to it. It's fine.
I've already been doing it out in public, and I've been watching British people go, "Oh God, here we go." Oh my God, look at me! I'm an American doing a British accent. We don't sound any
dastardly. Well,
all right, Hasan. Well, you can get back to watching a 22-minute video that's going to take you 5 hours.
Okay, dude. Listen. All I'm saying is, England's not ready for us, okay?
George and I have had 2 Nando's dates so far. I mean, they're not dates. I think they're dates, but George doesn't think so.
And they were quite the event.
Yeah, they were.
We were just the center of attention. Everyone's flocking to
Oh, it was. I mean, the fans are everywhere.
Wait, really?
They're like, oh my God, it's George and Austin. We're gonna be on the front page of the Daily Express. Austin and Show and George Not Found seen at Nando's. Austin Show.
Did you see that? Are you looking at my screen?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was impersonating. Also, I was at Nando's today. George and I were sitting there, and across the table, some other guy, he's like, sir, please come over here. Please, sir, please, right over here. And he's like, got a fork and a knife. He's like, sir, would you believe my chicken is very cold? And the server's like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what He's like, sir, please, the chicken is unacceptably cold. He's like, basically, in so many words, he's like, you do know this is a Nando's, right? Like, that's what he was saying. And then he's like, well, and then the guy's like, would you tell the chef that this chicken is cold? I couldn't believe it.
I actually didn't pay attention at all.
Yeah, I was listening to the whole conversation.
Yeah, you didn't hear because out of sheer embarrassment, because Austin was the one who was actually saying that in the British accent.
I thought you were getting recognized by someone. Yeah.
No, yesterday at Nando's, some random British bloke, is that what you say?
Bloke, yes. It's a
bloke.
Some random British bloke. A chap. This group of lads were at a table and they were in an argument.
A raucous set of lads.
Yeah, and they pulled me over and he said, listen, mate, we need some advice. Our mate went on a date with a bird. He thinks it's a date, but she don't know it's a date. So, like, what constitutes a date? Yeah, that's exactly how they talk.
All right, what constitutes a date then?
Well, I think both parties need to know it's a date before you call it a date.
It's true, otherwise it's just an event.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's just an occasion. But he called it a date, and she didn't call it a date. So it's not a date.
A gathering of
right?
two.
His friends were trying to tell him that, and he said it was a date.
These 2 different people. Which one was the chicken and which one was the date?
The chicken one was today. You weren't paying attention to the guy, remember?
Oh, no,
Remember when I was saying, I was like, do you realize this is a Nando's? Remember I was like,
Did I just completely misunderstand?
Yeah, and you were totally like, yeah, it is a Nando's.
No, I think I maybe misunderstood.
You must have not known what I was talking about.
I think I misunderstood.
And I was just so without that part of the conversation, it was just me going, you know, this is a Nando's, right? It's like going to McDonald's and complaining about the food.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and George is like,
I don't remember what I thought you were talking about. I think it was. I don't remember.
Did you not know that I was talking about the guy that was complaining about his cold chicken?
No, I didn't hear that bit.
Oh my God, you thought I was a fucking weirdo just talking random bollocks.
Like I don't know what I was thinking. I don't remember. What I do remember is that like some little girl came over.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe she knew me.
6.
Okay, but she was very young.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. But she came over and she just like looked up at my food and then walked off.
Yeah, she completely walked off. Well, she gave him the finger. We left that part out. She was like, fuck you. And then she left.
Wait, are there, Austin, have people recognized you yet?
The guy in the car.
Oh yeah, so last night, this guy rolls down the window of his Uber and he goes, hey, George. And then I'm like, and I'm just standing there and he's like, oh, and hi, Austin. Hey, George. Hi, Austin.
But it was weird because at first I didn't know where it was coming from. And I thought he knew me as in like as a friend.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it was like I don't often have random people go, hey, George.
Hey, George. It was like that.
It was a first.
And then when I drove off and you were still there, I did the same thing and you didn't hear me and it was really awkward.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I wanna do like maybe some political stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like potentially.
Hasan, you want to do everything. Why don't you just move here with all the stuff we want?
I love England. I mean, I don't. I have a presence to keep up here as a expressly bravophobic, but
can we get some? Yeah, quick.
Give me like an easy question.
Okay, what do you think about slavery?
Okay.
That's an easy one. Okay. You just say it's bad, George. Come on.
It's an easy one. You're right. You know, it is terrible.
It
is a bad thing. Yeah, I got it. I know the answer to
that. Yeah, you did it.
I know the.
Or you could be like that guy in that video is like, no comment, brother.
Yeah.
But what do you think when Americans do British accents?
I mean, usually it's not very good.
I want to go up and be like.
I was driving around yesterday, and there were people on bikes going, "Bye, bye, Boris," just on their bikes. We should go around and put on British accents to see if people catch on.
I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm really, really, really excited to be in the UK.
I'm excited to see you too. I miss you. You know what I mean?
Shut the fuck up. We see each other all the time. I'm excited to see George, dude.
We'll see you later, Hasan.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Peace, boys.
What percentage of the population do you think is going to end up being trans at the end of this? Do you think like
It
one day it's
depends how
going
you
to be like
define it.
70% of the
we know
country is
already
trans?
Well, we know already that about 1 in 5 adolescents now identifies, to use that hated word, identifies as part of the hypothetical.
The hated word. Bro, the way he fucking approaches this subject is so stupid. Like, how the fuck does anybody look at what Jordan Peterson has to say in this circumstance or in any other circumstance for that matter and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this shit seriously?
And I have no idea what the upper limit is for this surgical intervention. We'll see.
But
I don't find it. I don't find it the least bit acceptable. And if you think that your compassion is demanding that you extend your pity to the LGBTQ plus community at the cost of sterilizing children, you're on the wrong side of this, and not in a trivial way.
I would appreciate if you don't ascribe beliefs to me that I don't have. Remember, my original question was
well,
about.
you said earlier in this question that,
I said
that you
Elliot
were,
Page is an adult, and so do you think that he has the right to transition?
But as a star and a public figure and a model for emulation, she also has the responsibility not to entice confused adolescents into a catastrophic decision before they have the maturity to make that decision.
I just have to say, Jordan, I think it's a little bit of a moral panic. The argument is it used to be very repressed because that's very outside of the tradition and the norm and the standard, and that now when you sort of let the boot off the neck a little bit, the entire LGBTQ community. My original question was about the adults and what your take is on the adults, and it sounds to me like, let me ask you guys, would you ban transition surgery for adults?
Dude, he's such a pussy. Like, no matter what he says, I know what he actually wants. He never is going to say, no, he's not going to say yes. He just refuses to fucking admit what his true opinions are in situations like this.
I don't know.
I don't know? Okay, what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean you don't know? It's like consenting adults. He's like, no, I don't know. Fuck off, dude. Just say no.
But aren't there some people that are obviously trans who were born in one body, they feel like they're in the other body, and when they're an adult, they can make the decision? And then even from just a freedom and liberty perspective, shouldn't they have that right? Even if they do it and then they regret it, shouldn't they have the right to try it?
Good question. This entire argument, in many ways, is stated so idiotically that it almost defies description. I mean, what do you mean feel like you're in the wrong body?
It's so weird. Like, why is he acting like these things don't exist? Like, here's the problem, okay? Here's the issue, dickhead. This is supposed to be in your field. Not directly in your field, but like, you should at least have a cursory understanding of like the medical processes that take place. And the problem here is that either he knows they exist and refuses to acknowledge it, or even worse than that, he's just a fucking dumbass.
If someone comes to you and says, I feel like I have lung cancer, that is not sufficient grounds upon which to formulate a diagnosis, much less proceed to surgery. And so the question is, what do you mean by feel?
So I've been doing my show for about a decade. And about 2 or 3 years into doing my show, there were, some stories here and there that I covered about the trans issue. Somebody who is trans reached out to me and explained to me in a very straightforward way, yeah, look, I was born biologically female. I feel like I'm biologically male. My reality never lined up. And they told me as soon as I got the surgery, changed the way I dressed, changed the way I appeared, I felt phenomenally better. And so that's why, at least for me, this was the answer. Now, I think it would be incredibly arrogant for me to say back to that person, no, you shouldn't do that, or I know better than you do for yourself.
Look, most of the time, my attitude is you can go to hell in handbasket any way you choose if you're an adult.
Take a deep breath and recognize that this motherfucker is not only hysterical, but he's also hysterical because, like, trans people exist. Like, they're not doing anything to you, dog. You just want to harm them. As someone that is currently majoring in psychology, listening to JP spitting out so much bullshit that goes directly against what you learn in psychology, it genuinely gives me a headache. It's not a field where you can just spout whatever you want like it's an academy in ancient Greece. There's a method to how you go about these things that involves extensive research, just skips all over it and says whatever fits his agenda. Yeah, I mean, that is precisely what he's doing. And it's so obvious that in this circumstance, most people are just not going to do the research. They're not going to fucking fact check him. They're going to make it seem like he's being correct here. He's so annoying. Maybe he regrets his gender affirming surgery. You think he regrets his hair transplant? I don't think so. You could always draw back to the hateful cis is natural argument. Okay, well, this fucking bald ass hairline is natural. Okay, not treating cancer is natural. There is no such thing as like, oh, well, that's natural. We're talking about medicine, dickhead, is what I would say to Jordan Peterson if he said, oh, that's natural. What, do you think it's natural to go to the fucking gym and pump weights? It's not natural. Every part of society is designed specifically to overcome nature.
It's obvious to me that the trans surgery enterprise has gone way too far. And I'm certain that it's harmed exponentially more people than it's helped.
He has no evidence. Kyle should have fucking blasted his asshole. Notice how he pushes back on what it means to feel like a man, woman, just to derail the conversation with semantics. Clearly, he can understand personally what it feels like to be a man and not say a muppet. All right, I want to talk about this real quick, though. Ellery wrote, every guy can be a 7 has really changed my life. Now, this is something I've repeated on this broadcast many times. And what that means is that every guy has the capability of being a 7. You just need to groom yourself and also hit the gym. And it's probably like the exact opposite of incel ideology, because incels personally believe you are served your purpose on the planet and there's no way to overcome your genetic predestination. Part of that is also alt-right, and that's why it works so well, because that's kind of what like alt-right people believe as well. Dude, I do not have the material conditions for that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I do know what you mean. But there are things you can work on now, no matter what happened. Ever since I heard Hasan say that a little while ago, I decided, why not try? I was a 3-4, and I constantly felt like shit about myself. So I figured out a few easiest changes I could make and see if he was right, and then I would do more if it worked. The 3 biggest changes for me were better grooming, running regularly, and better manners. My sister recommended some skincare and grooming products that actually do make a huge difference in my appearance. I now run 5 times a week, and I try and walk most places when I can. I also shush before and after, which has made the next day easier too. I'm trying to figure out a gym membership so I can lift weights. My weight hasn't really changed, but I feel better physically and less bloated all the time. In terms of manners, I try and generally just be more polite and not talk over everyone or ignore people who engage with me. I have also started letting others speak first in group chats. I'm pretty anxious in general, but instead of letting it eat at me, I take the time to think about what I can contribute to the convo. My family has noticed a difference, and they're pretty encouraging, which is nice, especially my sister, who's given me lots of good advice. I don't really know if my friends have noticed because they haven't said anything, but I have gotten invited to more kickbacks in the past 3 weeks than I probably have ever in my life, which is a good sign. Now, I need people to understand a 7 is not a real thing either, for the record, but I think I can get there. I think the man was right. Next, I'm hoping to improve my style and intellect. Y'all should try it if you're curious. I understand being skeptical, but it's helped me immensely. But the number one thing that's always given me confidence is building short-term goals and building midterm goals and long-term goals. A lot of the commentary on the anyway, this is friend of the show, FD Signifier, talking about the Manosphere. But this part of it is important, I think, what the left needs to do better.
Of all of the topics and issues that we on the left understand and argue about, there is no bigger weakness in our rhetoric, in our ideas, than our ability to understand and engage with masculinity.
For the record, this is the reason why I have a variety of different kind of content. The reason why I do all of that, including like the reason why I want to fucking make sure that there's, you know, some steady flow of content even on my TikTok. But the reason why I do that is because I want to flood the space and counter all the negative propaganda that surrounds me with the ultimate goal of bringing people back in here and having these sorts of conversations. Every single one of you, one way or another, encountered my content and commentary or some other form where I was like either talking about some shit or appearing on someone else's broadcast, and you saw that and you were like, I'm gonna check this guy out. No one is like, let me find who the politics man on Twitch is. Everybody finds me and then they become fans because they're like, yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with this guy. Some of you are already looking for content that's leftist. Some of you are already looking for content that's already leftist, right? You're like, yeah, I'm looking for a leftist commentator. I thought you were right wing until Atriok one stream said you two had very similar politics. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. But that's why it's that easy for you to take a shot in the dark and like watch me and then get to know what my politics are and appreciate that and come back and have your mind changed. Started watching in 2019, had no idea what leftism was, but you were on the Train Scuff podcast and I was like, this man's pretty cool. I no longer watch Train. This is the clip that brought me here. Dude, I feel so fucking bad. Little man, go to your bed. Oh, fuck, he hates the cone so much. I don't want to have the cone on him, but I have to keep him on. Found you when Timple mentioned you a few months back. Changed my perspective on a lot of stuff. Also helped me quit smoking with gum. I think I saw clips of you on TikTok making fun of idiots and checked your stream. Didn't heard that it was a year ago when you were at your hottest. Check Ludwig's last message. I made you. What the fuck? Probably someone I should un-VIP, right? He's not on the platform. Yeah, I think I should un-VIP them. You have removed Ludwig as a VIP on this channel. Yeah, not verified either, so I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Chat, don't make fun of him. He'll ban you. Oh, everybody said Elwig. You've given him too much power? No, I don't care. Gave her mostly conservative ideas by watching your stream. Found you through Miskiff, actually. Saw someone on Twitter replying to one of your AOC Among Us tweets saying you were racist. Looked into your YouTube to see why AOC was promoting someone like that. And now I've been here for almost 2 years. That's great. I wish more people would do stuff like that rather than just be like, yeah, I fucking hate that guy. Yeah, one combo with Hutch while I was trying to find a political streamer, and you gave me the knowledge I needed to know how to express myself as a leftist. You also motivated me to lose 60 pounds during COVID. Congratulations, chatter. I was a centrist Rogan head until a video of you owning Crowder popped up on my YouTube feed after George Floyd's murder. RIP, you were my intro into leftist ideas. Found you because a lot of Twitter leftists shit on you, but a leftist comedian I adore mentioned you a few times. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start watching the streams. I'm here every day. I actually thought you were a piece of shit, but after a while I just got more and more in tune with you, lol. You converted me. Yeah, there's definitely some people who come in who think I'm a piece of shit, who think I'm a piece of shit too. I'm here because of Austin. You were in some lover host shit and I was hooked because you talk politics. However, I thought you were a chud since you are a Chad. I came in for the Among Us stream for AOC and Corpse and fell in love with your content. That's so funny. I found you because of the one time you talked the dream on stream. So yeah, I think that for as many people, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people who are just like, oh, he's a grifter. And then there's like hella people that don't actually check in to see if that's true or not, or come in to check in. There's probably right now, there's probably someone exactly like you in the chat who's in here because he's like, oh, this guy I've heard is a grifter. I heard he's a piece of shit. I heard he sucks. I thought you were a lib when I first started watching, but after your Palestine coverage, I was convinced of your anti-imperialist bona fides. And that you weren't a grifter. Yeah. But of course, most people are in because of positive interactions that I've had with other people, other content creators that I like, that they like. The reason why I talk about some of these like issues that pertain to masculinity and the issues that pertain to men and how to better ourselves while still maintaining some semblance of masculinity and improve yourself is because it's important.
And I found 2 different papers published in the last couple of years that also support this claim. Both found that the only people who fell deep into those types of rabbit holes of aggressive, violent, racist, etc. content were people who greatly were predisposed to that type of worldview to begin with, i.e. ones who are already looking for. The algorithm and YouTube on its own is not as powerful as we like to think in terms of radicalizing normies. The one question I have is what counts as predisposed for that type of content? So much of how we teach boys and men to see masculinity could easily predispose a good amount of young men to pursue radical content. But more significantly, if we recognize that there is a battle for the proliferation of certain ideas among this population, but we still see the massive influence and reach of everything between Gary Vee on to Jordan Peterson for men and boys, then to me that says that we aren't really putting our best foot forward to address this on the left. A video essayist, Macabre Storytelling, did a pretty awesome video on his experience with pickup artist communities. He noticed that most of the men were just normal men who were like him, trying to get better at talking to women. He also noticed that although he could see the flaws in the community and that there were several great content creators who had done excellent breakdowns of why pickup artistry was bad, when it was time for him to find a better alternative to pickup artistry and Manosphere type content, a lot of these creators didn't have as much to offer.
So, can you help me? Help you with what? Well, like I said, I am pretty insecure when it comes to women. Oh, well, just be confident. Just be confident? Yeah, just, be confident. Well, thanks, but I was hoping for some more substantial advice. Hello?
That's where I come in, motherfucker.
And to me, more than the edgelord stuff, more than any dunks I landed on Jordan Peterson, this is the most important takeaway I hope people get from this video.
I've improved my life so much by examining my own toxic masculinity and examining my own, why don't I let myself cry? All of these alienated, white dudes who are susceptible to the beauty pipeline, they are looking for guidance. They're looking for some answer to their problems. And it would be nice to have somewhere on the left that was speaking to that group.
I understand that there are some barriers in terms of how well we can talk about it, as well as how well we can give that message to individuals who maybe aren't that open-minded to it, or if they are not going to necessarily be the best folks to engage with on a regular basis in this type of political discourse. Many of the biggest figures on LeftTube are women, but LeftTube is not without its fair share of creators who, regardless of gender expression or sexuality, present masculine and have large swaths of mass viewers who they appeal to. So it's not an absence of opportunity, it's kind of an absence of efficiency and effort. And again, I understand why. So much of how all of us have been taught to understand masculinity is built around these destructive and toxic frameworks. Some of us don't know how to define, perform, and embody masculinity without the toxic elements that we agree shouldn't be there. I hope this doesn't sound like complaining. I hope it sounds like the numerous layers of complexity around engaging with masculinity from this weird progressive standpoint, and why I feel like a lot of men on the left maybe just avoid the minefield altogether. On one end, there's an innate fear of making the wrong move or saying the wrong thing and maybe getting canceled. But also there is an innate fear, I think, that we somehow end up reproducing the same problems and frameworks that we are hoping to defeat.
It's like super important to me now to not even be perceived as someone that is toxic to like progress, you know? A lot of my old videos and old ideas I still like basically agree with, but I'm like very careful about how I say things and what I say, because I want it to be clear that, whose team I'm not on, basically.
When you see the way that some men on the left act, when you see how many a celebrity or professed male feminist shows themselves to be shitty in the long run when push comes to shove, you see how this fear is warranted. But we should also hopefully see that this is not an ideal state of affairs for our goals, and that by avoiding these topics and this whole area of gender discourse, we're only empowering our enemies to corner the market on that topic.
I agree with this 100%.
Making things better by not being explicit about engaging masculinity.
I agree with this 1,000,000%.
No shade to anyone, but it's not hard to shit on chuds and make fun of alpha male podcasts, or to call out obvious assholes doing the obvious asshole things. Those things are important, but they are also abundant on the platform. What we don't have is a lot of analysis on boyhood, men's experiences in sexuality and sexual development, men's body issues, and God forbid, some type of useful engagement with boys and men, learning how to talk to women and engaging in partnering. We've got some elements of that present, but we could be doing a lot more. There's been very little intentional guidance given to a lot of these men and boys around their specific standpoint in this process. The only ones speaking directly to them are the ones that tell them to resist that change. So shockingly, I have fans that are both fans of me and somehow Kevin Samuels. And the only thing that makes sense of that from my perspective is that these are young men and boys that are so hard up for useful images of black masculinity that they'll take damn near anything, even if it doesn't make sense when you put them together. Wherever you are in that spectrum, I don't need you to read Capital or Bell Hooks or anything else explicitly that is going to pull you into a leftist ideology. But what I will challenge you to do is to deconstruct how you see yourself as a man apart from the messages and images that you see in the manosphere. That we have now so much proof and evidence is not helping you, is not helping us as men out here in the world. I get the appeal of easy.
I'm gonna be real and say, as a woman, it took me a little while to get used to her style. As someone who was used to more soft boy content from You Are a Secret, Soft Boy, lol. Yeah, no, for sure. But also the other side of that is that, like, the way I look and the way I carry myself, the way I present myself, I believe is very successful at reaching an audience that normally would not listen to someone. That's why I always say, like, I try to use my privilege for good. And what I mean by that is, like, for someone to watch ContraPoints, who makes incredible content, so much better content than myself, obviously, they have to still, to a certain degree, be comfortable with listening to a trans person. There are people out there who don't want to listen to a trans person at all. The people that need to listen to ContraPoints the most, and I think she does such a good job of, like, catering the messaging directly to people like that, and uses internet culture as a good bridge. But there is still plenty of people which I know are not going to listen. So I try to make that pathway open for people to go down that pipeline. But yeah, the thing is, like, there's plenty of people who are straight up just terrible. There's plenty of people that have the capacity to learn. There's plenty of people that can get better, but it's going to take someone, myself, who they are preconditioned into believing, who are preconditioned into listening. So I try to use that juxtaposition for good. Not saying it's accurate, but do you think being tied with the TYT brand made people not give you a chance because they kind of have the reputation from the far right as the whiny leftists? Yeah, but ultimately it doesn't matter because, like, I have become a content creator on my own that has my own perspective and has my own brand, I guess. So much so that it doesn't matter at this point. Having said that, we are going to be moving this content train down to the fucking UK, bruv. And I have to turn around and fucking get ready. Oh, did you pack already? Fuck no. I haven't done shit. I haven't packed. The only thing I have packed is, like, my camera equipment. The things I care about, I already packed. Schedule will be around the same. Boy, bro, time maybe a little bit earlier, but it will be around the same time. My brother's gonna be staying at my house, in my place, and driving around the fucking Porsche, keeping things alive, you know? I myself will be in the UK and then Amsterdam until the 18th. I'm not gonna let him stream, no. All right. Peace. All right. Peace.